Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin has really not moved much in the last 24 hours. The micro count I shared with you in the previous video is still valid. Has just been moving sideways, nothing really to add. In my opinion, it still has an easier route to the downside compared to the low it's already in. So what we could do here, we could see a substantial reversal from here, but it would need to break above 27,720 at least, okay, to give a first indication for that from here, because we have a fairly incomplete downside pattern. As I explained to you, another low seems likely, and it still seems to have an easier path to the downside with one more low, because it hasn't even come close to that 27,720 level. Yeah. If we compare that to Ethereum is much further or closer towards that 50% fib level, which is basically the pivot point. If price breaks above that, we could say that possibly a low is in. It will depend a bit on the structure. But at the moment, that question doesn't even come up because Bitcoin isn't even close to that resistance. Now we know that can happen very quickly, right? Bitcoin can turn around in an instant. Actually, the stock market is, I think, quite friendly today. I haven't looked at it in detail, but a few coins I looked at today, they seem to get a bounce. So yeah, maybe Bitcoin wakes up a little bit and gets a bit more friendly throughout the day. But overall, at the moment, not much to add, and there should still be at least one more low to around 24K. That's the next Fibonacci support level. Below that level, we've got the 23K level. I showed you the volume profiles in a previous video. They really increase around that 23K level. Here you can see it. There's a volume spike. The most significant one here in a little while, really. It exceeds what we had in that region up there above 27K. Not as substantial as the volume down there around 20K, but still, that one could be quite significant. 23K. Yeah. A lot of previous price action there, a lot of volume traded around that price. And that typically means that if price gets to that region, there should be a bit of a slowdown in price action, maybe a reversal. But also we've got the golden ratio, a very important Fibonacci level, the 61.8 fib level. You can see that this set of Fibonacci levels is respected by the price. Price respected here in June, that level, and it's been respected again. So it would suggest that also the golden ratio will be respected. In addition to that, around 24K, we had previous swing highs as well here in February and in March. Looking at the micro price action, you can see that price is still moving sideways in this Elliott Wave triangle I shared with you in the previous video. I had a question, could the wave 4 already be over? Sorry, yes, of course, it could already be over, but it's not the preferred scenario. It looks fairly incomplete, but it can always be over, right? In that case, the wave 4 would have finished here, but it's not the preferred outcome. Normally, I would prefer a clearer three-wave structure, A, B, C. At the moment, my assumption is that the B wave is unfolding as a triangle. That could be already finished. It looks a bit like a so-called, in Elliott Wave language, we call it barrier triangle, but it's actually an ascending triangle, more or less, yeah. So we pay attention to that with a suggested breakout to the upside, but really confirmation only if that upper trend line breaks. It's not a trend line, it's actually a horizontal resistance line at $26,300, but that is really just the micro perspective. Within the boundaries between 25,620, which is the breakdown point to the downside, and 27,720, I wouldn't take any of that price action too seriously because we're dealing with a correction, and in corrections, micro price action changes quickly, micro counts change quickly. We've got over 10 different corrective structures that can unfold in Elliott Wave, whereas if we talk about an impulse, it can only be one. So that makes these corrections always quite complex, and it doesn't really give you any value to really try to dive deep into the micro count, but I always show these for educational purposes as well. So at the moment, it seems like a three-wave structure should still unfold here. I would find that quite likely because that's typically a more ideal structure, yeah, a three-wave structure. So A wave probably done, B wave may be done, but needs to confirm it by breaking above 26,000 $300 or 26,290. It will depend on the exchange you're looking at. And I mean, a target for the C wave here, 27,120, is the ideal target that you typically have for a fourth wave, the 38.2 retracement. And if we talk about Fibonacci extensions, yeah, we have very first target is the 61.8 extension at 26,960. The 1-to-1 ratio is relevant as well, which is very close to the 78.6 retracement. So that would be at 27,630. These are simply some levels to watch. Not super reliable because we're dealing with a small degree and we're dealing with a correction, but still they are levels to watch. Just be aware, below 25,620, I would argue that the wave 5 to the downside has already started. That's my update about Bitcoin. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.